Let's go through. Deebo Samuel has a broken foot. Deebo Samuel, who was on the show, he said that he traveled from Arizona, I believe, to Atlanta to do workouts, or Florida. I don't know. Atlanta. I think he was working out in Atlanta with a bunch of players. This is a kind of a new thing. We saw videos of Sam Darnold throwing to Saquon Barkley last week. Cam Newton was throwing to, I believe, Deebo Samuel. Alongside Tyrod Taylor was there as well. Players have been doing a lot of these workouts together in the offseason. I like it, by the way. If you get a chance to work with somebody else, you get a chance to kind of learn from them. OBJ and Cam Newton were working together. Now, granted, this is always going to stir some rumors about who wants to play with who wants to go where. And a lot of people are wondering, well, why isn't Saquon playing catch with Danny Dimes? Why isn't Deebo Samuel out there with Jimmy G? Why aren't they always working with their own quarterbacks? And I think that's a fair question, because the timing and route running and things like that are a very big deal to the quarterback-wide receiver relationship. But if your quarterback isn't in the same region as you and you can go and get some work from another NFL quarterback, I think it's good news to go do it. But I could see how some fans would be like, well, why is Darnold throwing Saquon? What if Saquon starts catching and liking Sam Darnold's balls and he's like, excuse me, I want to get the hell out of here. I want to go to the Jets. Not that anybody in the history of the world has ever said, excuse me, I want to go to the Jets. But that is something that he could potentially do. I don't think that's going to happen. It's good work. Deebo Samuel breaks his foot in one of these workouts in Atlanta. He comes
Nashville, sorry.
Oh, it was in Nashville? He working out in Nashville? Was he down there with Dilfer?
Could be.
Was he down there with Dilfer, I wonder? Breaks his foot in Nashville. He says he'll be back in 10 weeks, which would be in time for the season. But it is alleged that somebody else who had the same injury tried to come back early, and it did not work out. Great for them. Deebo Samuel is a physical freak. He is a great wide receiver in the making. Last year, he was the slant god, took that thing everywhere, ran people over. His name's Deebo for a reason. He says he'll be back in 10 weeks. I don't know if that is the case or not. I'm not a doctor. I hope he does, though. The Niners need him. But this opens up potentially a wide receiver signing for the 49ers. Is that going to be Josh Gordon, who's trying to get reinstated, or is he going to stay with the Seattle Seahawks? There's Antonio Brown still out there. How about Percy Harvin, who's been running through parking garages as well? There's a lot of wide receivers that are very talented that are still out on the market. Well, the 49ers have to do that now that they know Deebo Samuel, one of their most productive guys last year, is potentially going to be sidelined early in the season.
Yeah, what was going around the internet yesterday was Akeem Nicks had the same injury after their Super Bowl run, and he was really never the same wide receiver after that. But to your point earlier, when you're talking about guys from different teams working out together, Tom's not. Tom's got that entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers team working out that high school.
It's a big deal. It is a big deal because the timing is everything. Now, granted, it's not playing against defense, and you're not going to have to get off of a press coverage if you're a wide receiver. But I remember watching Peyton Manning now, and that guy, they had workouts at a high school field here and in a college field here, and I would just go up there and I'd kick some balls inside and then just kind of watch it. Watching them just hit the same route, like they would do the same route like 100 times. It was just like the same thing, just so he could get that perfect time. Now, he didn't have as strong of an arm at that point of his career as he had in the past or other quarterbacks had, so he relied on that timing and that knowledge of each other and that relationship with the wide receiver in a big, big way. That's why every time you see passes from Peyton, it's basically getting dropped right in a bucket, and the wide receiver is looking at the last second because he's throwing that thing before the wide receiver is or the corner could ever know that the ball's coming. But all those off-season reps is how that happened. Now, if you're not in the same area as your quarterback, that's going to be difficult, but there's a lot of times where the quarterback will set up a workout in a place and say, hey, let's go work out here, let's go do this, let's go do this. Now guys are working out everywhere, and Tom Brady's old school. He's like, listen, I don't even know this offense. I don't know the names of these routes. We need to get on this high school field, and when there's a chopper flying overhead, everybody just act like you're drinking water and having a good time.
It's very interesting because Tom's doing that. Ben's working out with only Steelers players. Like, it's interesting that the older players are working out with just their teammates, and then it seems like the younger quarterbacks go to wherever they work out with like their private coaches and whatever players are there.
It's two different trains of thought, I would assume. It's very two different trains of thoughts. I mean, old school. When I watched those videos of Cam throwing to Odell, I was like, damn, that would be cool to watch. And I bet you a lot of Browns fans potentially thought that too. And Browns fans like, listen, Baker's our guy. Okay, Baker's our guy. But if Baker isn't our guy, we'll rely on this video right back here to be like, boom. And then Saquon's making plays. Go ahead and let Danny Dimes overthrow him or something. They'll be like, remember when Saquon was working out with Sam Darnold? It's just setting up for these types of petty, heinous things to be asinine things to be said. But if guys are getting better, who gives a damn? This is the offseason. That's what it's for. But for me, Deebo Samuel hurting his feet is a big deal. Hurting his foot is a big deal. Wide receivers' feet are so important. You got to remember, wide receivers' feet are, I mean, they get beat to hell and back because these dudes are running full speed, and then the better of a wide receiver you are is the better you're able to cut without the corner knowing that you're about to cut or break stride or move, and your toes just get jammed into the end. I mean, wide receivers' toes just get absolutely crushed because they're trying to cut as hard as they possibly can to create separation, because in the NFL, creating separation is very difficult because you're playing against the best athletes on earth on the other side that are trying to mirror you. So, like, your feet are a very important part of the entire process. Him having a broken foot, I would assume, is a bit alarming to everybody in San Francisco, but Deebo Samuel is a freak. Let's assume he could potentially get back, but that could hurt him just like it did Hakeem Nicks.